Ever wondered why dried fruit doesn't spoil as quickly as fresh fruit? Or why your raisins don't resemble grapes at all? Well, let's dive into the fascinating world of food science, specifically the art and science of fruit drying. Picture this: you're standing in the middle of a field of plump, juicy grapes, but you're not here for a wine tasting. Rather, you're about to embark on a journey that transforms these grapes into raisins, a process that involves a bit of a disappearing act. The trick? It's all about moisture, or rather the lack thereof. Fruit drying is a process that removes water from the fruit. You see, moisture is the lifeblood of bacteria and mold, the culprits behind food spoilage. By removing the water, we're essentially evicting these unwanted guests, prolonging the fruit's shelf life. But how does this process occur, you ask? Well, it's not as simple as leaving a bunch of grapes out in the sun. While sun drying is a method used in some parts of the world, it's not the most efficient or hygienic. Enter the world of industrial fruit drying. Here, in giant temperature-controlled dehydrators, the water is delicately removed, ensuring the fruit retains its nutritional value, taste, and texture. It's a bit like a spa day for the fruit, only instead of emerging with a glow, they come out a little more wrinkled, but packed with concentrated flavor. The advantages of industrial drying are numerous. It's faster, safer, and allows for large quantities of fruit to be processed at once. Plus, it opens up a world of possibilities for the types of fruit that can be dried, from apples and apricots to exotic varieties like kiwis and pineapples. So the next time you're munching on those dried apricots, remember, it's not magic, it's science. Scene script. Fruit drying isn't all sunshine and rainbows, or should I say, sunshine and raisins. Imagine your favorite fruit, its succulent juice and sweet aroma. Now picture it without its water content. What you've got left is a dried fruit, a shriveled up version of its former self, packed with concentrated flavors and a longer shelf life. But how do we go from juicy to chewy? Well, it's all about the science of dehydration. In the bustling world of fruit drying industries, our unsung heroes don't wear capes, they operate dehydrators. These machines are like the super saunas of the fruit world, where fruits go in plump and juicy and come out shriveled and sweet. The process is simple, yet precise. Fruits are placed in the dehydrator, which then works its magic by maintaining a low temperature and a fan to circulate the air. This controlled environment sucks out the water content from the fruits, while keeping their nutritional value intact. But it's not all plug and play. The real challenge lies in maintaining the perfect balance of temperature and humidity. Too hot, and the fruits might get cooked instead of dried. Too humid, and they could start to mold before they're dry. It's a delicate dance of dryness that requires a keen eye and a steady hand. So next time you enjoy that handful of dried mango or those raisins in your cereal, remember, there's a whole science and an unsung hero behind every bite. Who knew that fruit could be so high maintenance? But what about cold storage? Isn't that a simpler solution? Well, dear listener, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But let's peel back the layers and take a closer look. Cold storage is like putting a band-aid on a wound. It's a temporary solution. Sure, it keeps your fruit fresh for a little while, but sooner or later, it's going to spoil. And let's not forget the cost of keeping that refrigerator running. It's not just the electricity bill. We're talking about the space it takes up, the maintenance it needs, and let's not even get started on the environmental impact. Now you might be thinking, but I like my fruit fresh, I don't want it all shriveled up and dried. Well, here's the thing. Drying fruit doesn't mean you're losing out on the goodness. On the contrary, it concentrates the flavors and nutrients, giving you a burst of fruity goodness in every bite. And let's not forget about the shelf life. Fresh fruit, even in cold storage, has a limited lifespan. But dried fruit? It's like the superhero of the fruit world. It keeps going and going, fighting off the evil forces of decay and spoilage. It's ready when you are. Whether that's tomorrow, next week, or even next year. Plus, dried fruit is versatile. It can be a snack on its own, added to your favorite cereal, or even used in baking. And the best part? It doesn't need refrigeration. So you can stash it in your pantry, your desk drawer, or even your bag for a quick and healthy snack on the go. So, let's weigh the scales here. On one side we have cool storage. Costly, space-consuming, and short-lived. On the other side we have dried fruit. Affordable, compact, long-lasting, and packed with flavor and nutrients. So dried fruit not only lasts longer but also saves you a trip to the refrigerator at midnight. Win-win, I say. Ever thought fruit drying could be a subject of intense lab research? Well, think again. Laboratory analysis is the unsung hero in the fruit drying industry. It's a world where lab coats and pipettes meet with apricots and raisins. Yes, you heard it right. We are talking about the science of scrumptiousness, the chemistry of deliciousness. Let's dive into the world of lab analyses and see just how they ensure the best drying quality. It all starts with a simple fruit sample. This unsuspecting piece of fruit is about to go on quite the scientific journey. First stop, the moisture content test. It's crucial to know how much water is in the fruit before and after drying. Too much moisture and the fruit could spoil, too little, and you might as well be munching on a piece of chalk. Next, we move on to the texture analysis. This is where they check how chewy or crunchy the dried fruit is. The perfect dried fruit should have a fine balance, not too hard yet not too soft. And let's not forget the taste test. This isn't just about whether the fruit is sweet or sour. The lab folks are looking for any off flavors that might suggest the fruit wasn't dried properly. Then there's the color test. The dried fruit should retain its vibrant color, a sign of good quality drying. If it's too dark, it might mean the fruit has been over-dried or even burnt. And finally, the nutritional analysis. This is to make sure that the drying process hasn't stripped the fruit of its vitamins and minerals. Because what's the point of eating fruit if you're not getting the good stuff, right? Each of these tests and checks are critical in ensuring the best quality dried fruit. It's a meticulous process, but one that's absolutely necessary. So the next time you enjoy your dried fruit, remember, a lab coat was probably involved. So what have we learned from our deep dive into the world of dried fruit? Well, we've learned that the journey of a piece of dried fruit starts with, unsurprisingly, a piece of fresh fruit. This fruit is then subjected to a drying process, where the water content is significantly reduced, leaving us with a smaller, more concentrated version of the original fruit. This process isn't as simple as leaving a piece of fruit out in the sun though. In the industrial world of fruit drying, there are various methods employed to achieve the perfect dried fruit. From traditional sun drying to more modern techniques like freeze drying and dehydrating, each method has its own unique set of advantages and challenges. We've also discovered that these dried fruits don't just magically appear in our pantry. Behind the scenes, there's a whole team of dedicated individuals who ensure that the drying process is carried out correctly. They monitor temperatures, humidity levels, and drying times to guarantee the best possible outcome. And let's not forget our friends in the lab coats. The role of lab analyses in the fruit drying process is crucial. These analyses ensure that the dried fruit we consume is safe, nutritious, and of good quality. Nutritional value, microbial safety, and even taste are all put under the microscope, figuratively speaking, of course. Now, why go through all this trouble to dry fruit when we could just store it in a cool place? Well, the advantages of drying over cool storage are numerous. Drying extends the shelf life of fruit significantly, making it possible to enjoy certain fruits all year round, regardless of their season. It also makes the fruit more portable and less likely to spoil, making it a great snack option. On the flip side, cool storage has its limitations. It can only preserve fruit for a short period of time. And even then, the fruit's quality can deteriorate. Moreover, cool storage requires a lot of energy and space, which can be costly. In essence, the fruit drying process is a fascinating blend of science, art, and a little bit of magic. It's a process that requires precision, patience, and a whole lot of love for fruit. So, there you have it, the secret life of dried fruit. Now go forth and enjoy your fruit, dried or otherwise, with a newfound appreciation.